And that's why Marvin Emnes is banned from Middlesbrough Bungee Centre.
Fair enough.
Hello and welcome to the Phil Shy podcast. I'm Peter Bell, and with me as always, the nicest man in comedy and the fashionably late Patrick Linton.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
I'm always late, mate.
Yes.
You should know this. Like,
You're always
I'm predictably late. It's always 3 or 4 minutes, max.
No, it all worked out fine. It all worked out fine. You're here now, and that's the important thing. So now in the new format, obviously we start with football news. Unfortunately, we need to start with shite news this week because both in England and in Italy, there were examples over the weekend of racism. So fans making either monkey gestures or monkey chants at black players. The first one I'll talk about is the Sheffield Wednesday Coventry match. Casey Palmer, Coventry midfielder, went to take a corner. Stuff was being thrown at him, and then fans were, I think one fan, he said, made a monkey gesture at him, and he obviously drew attention to it. Barry Bannon, who was very good about the whole thing, went over and spoke to him.
Is Barry Bannon still a thing?
Aye.
Fucking hell.
Sheffield Wednesday captain. Man.
Is he?
Propelled them to promotion
He
last
must be
season.
about 50.
Well, he's not that old, but he still looks like a child. But, so he went over and talked to them and asked what they wanted to do, and they said because it was like 93 minutes, there was 30 seconds to go or something like that. They were just like, we'll just play the rest of the game, it's fine. Casey was quick to point out, Casey Palmer, I should say, use his full name, that it doesn't represent the Sheffield United fan base, which is good. He didn't need to say that.
Aye.
He didn't need to say that, especially with all the shit that must have been going through his head after that happened. Both clubs have condemned it, and they're both saying they're going to work with the authorities to find the person that did it. In Italy, it was a bit different. It was Mike Mannion, the AC Milan goalkeeper, against Udinese. He was getting chants all game, monkey chants. He drew attention to the referee, told him what was going on.
Aye.
They had to make an announcement over the tannoy. Could you stop being racist cunts, please? Now, if that has to happen at your football club, that's fucking embarrassing.
Aye.
If that has to go
Who
over,
would stand next to somebody that was doing that?
I know.
Do you know what I mean? You'd hook them.
Exactly. I just don't get it. The fact that, can you imagine that happened in this country? There had to be a tannoy announcement about that. That club would never live it down. But in Italy, it is a bit different, unfortunately. But like they said, it kept going. So Mike Mannion spoke to his teammates and they decided, no, we're off. We're just leaving the pitch.
That's the only way to do it, man.
Yeah. So it's absolutely pathetic that still had to happen. Like, these guys, I know they get paid lots of money, but they're at their job. Like, they're working. You shouldn't have to put up with it anywhere, but especially when you're at your place of work. You know, it's not something you expect. Ian Wright backed them up on walking off the pitch. I'll read out what he said because I don't want to misquote him in any way. Solidarity from the rest of the team. Keep walking off. We tried playing through it and nothing has changed. Point deductions needed. These fines are pointless. It's wild that this is like so common, especially in Italian football. Like
2024.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's not the first time this happened in Italy. Like this season, Lukaku had it. Who else was it that had it?
I think Osman had it.
Umtiti. Yeah, that was another one. It's just ridiculous that this is happening so frequently. Obviously, there's banter between fans and like opposition players.
Aye.
But you see like good examples of it, and like all the time. Why do you need to cross that line? Like, I just don't understand the logic behind it. I'm not sure points deductions are fair, to be honest with you, because Udinese have black players, which is another reason why this is fucking like unreal.
But like, I think like that's the only way that it'll get through to the thick skulls, because like most of these people, they've only got a football team and that's all they've got, and they're like absolute morons. So that's the only way to hurt them. Like,
but I think like what you do is stadium bans is probably the way I'd go, and you just say until every single person who was responsible has been identified, you're no getting back in. No fans, nobody.
Like no fans.
Aye, so the entire thing is empty until everyone's been identified and banned. And that way, eventually, you'll weed out all the people that are doing this.
Aye.
And you're not punishing the players, some of whom are black and will no doubt have experienced the same racism at other stadiums.
It's the fans that have got to police themselves. If you see
Exactly.
somebody fucking doing that,
Well,
just grab them and be like, what are you doing?
That's the other benefit of this, because it will encourage other fans who want to go and watch the game to grass in the people that are actually doing it. It blows my mind. I just don't understand it at all. Like, obviously it's not a football problem, it's a societal problem.
Aye.
If you're racist in a football pitch, you're going to be racist outside it as well. It's just a sort of vehicle for you to voice it. And education's obviously the best way to deal with that, but that's outside football's jurisdiction. So it just has to do whatever it can to try and fix the problems that it can fix. And I know people get annoyed about cunts talking about racism on a football podcast, but if you want us to stop, just stop fucking doing it, man.
Stop being racist.
Just stop being racist. That's it. Simple as that.
Did you ever see when I think it was Hulk? I think he was playing for Porto at the time, in Russia, and the crowd were giving him monkey chants, and like the video like of this goal is for the crowd, so like they're all just like giving him monkey chants. He gets the ball, takes it inside and smacks it for 30 yards into the top corner, and then just runs out there. Cunt's like, come on.
There was also an example in Spain where someone threw a banana at Dani Alves when he was taking a corner, and he picked it up and ate it.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Is that our cheers, mate? Potassium, slow release energy. That's perfect for playing this second half.
It's like, honestly, I can't imagine a footballer who is less likely to be put off by anything the crowd are doing than Dani Alves. Because he's just a maniac. He's like, I don't fucking care. See people like him, all that's going to do is make him go, I'm going to fucking show you. And he'll just play at another level. And obviously, he's not going to be going, oh great, this is happening, that's going to drive me forward. He's still going to be affected by it when the game's over. But like guys like that, you just got to admire how well they handle situations like that. So, stop being fucking racist, guys. It's not difficult, you know. Lighter news. Well, it's not really news, actually. It's something I discovered recently. Right. So the comedian Nabil Abdul Rashid, right? He was on QI. And he said when he did something stupid, or was being an idiot when he was younger, his mother used to call him a Scottish football team. Because in Nigerian slang, this team means idiot.
What team is it?
Well, do you want to have a wee guess? It's for the majority of the time they've been an SPL team. Put it that way.
Don't be a thistle.
No, it's not a thistle. They have a nickname which is morally questionable, or racially questionable. Put it that way, because their pitch used to have a certain condition.
So after just covering some serious racism news,
well, it's tangentially related.
SPL. Are they in the SPL just now?
No. I mean, they should be, but they're not.
Dundee. United.
There you go.
The Arabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are they even called the Arabs?
Because their pitch used to be sandy. Again, not great. Yeah.
Is that what it is? That's quality.
But yeah, so in Nigerian slang, if you're acting like an idiot, you get called a Dundee United or a Dundee for short. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I know, it's brilliant. I've tried to find out the origins of this, right? So some of it they think dates back to like a FIFA Youth World Cup in the 80s, but apparently it was happening before then. There was a European game supposedly where Dundee United were like 2-0 up from the first leg, and a bunch of Nigerians apparently put money on Dundee United to then go through and get through both legs, and I think it was Roma came back and won 3-0 in the second leg. And because they'd all lost this amount of money,
it just lives on in folklore.
Yeah, they just Dundee United.
Morons, you've absolutely Dundee United that, haven't you?
It's maybe my favourite fact, not just related to football, but in the world.
Oh, that is fantastic.
It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Right, okay, so what else? Something else I learned this week about this is relating to financial fair play and profit and sustainability stuff. So the windows, the accounting periods they measure, like it runs till the end of June, basically.
Right.
So each year, there's 3 years in a cycle. Each year stops at June, they start again.
Aye.
The transfer window closes in September.
Right.
So I'm sorry, but this Nottingham Forest fans, if they had sold Brennan Johnson in June, or if the cycle had ran till September, they would not have got done, because they would have made the money necessary to stay above that line if the Brennan Johnson sale was included.
Why don't they just run it
till September?
Till September then, because then clubs know what they need to do.
Because FIFA is run by a bunch of Dundee United.
Then it means that you can you can manage it. Like,
exactly.
If you're in a transfer window, your accountant comes to you and goes like, we're like 10 million short, then you sell somebody for 10 million.
Think about how many big name players.
Or you've got like 40 million to spare. That means you can buy somebody.
Well, think about how many big name players have been sold in the last day of the transfer window. It happens quite frequently. You know, like there'd be a 30-40 million pound deal, and that can be the difference between meeting these standards and not. And that's been the case for Nottingham Forest. I'd be fucking raging if that was.
That's fantastic, man.
They could get points docked for that. They're like, but we didn't. Oh no, it's an insane rule. And I'm sorry, but it is funny. It is really funny.
It's like people that run football haven't got a fucking clue, man, honestly.
About anything. Like,
can you remember when we brought in VAR in Scotland and we had to bring it in January? Do you know why we brought it in January?
No.
Because they had the vote in June to like bring it in for the next season in August. So they had the vote and they were like, we're going to bring in VAR. And they went to the people like that do all the technical stuff for VAR, and they were like, all right, we want VAR for August, like 3 weeks or something. And they were like, no, it takes a long time to set all this stuff up. And they were like, what? So like that's why we had to do it in the middle of a season, because they've just not a clue how things work.
Like, I mean, this is wider than football, that kind of shit though. See, people, if you own a company or are a manager somewhere, speak to the actual people that do the job if you want to know how long something's going to take. Seriously, it's not that difficult, man. Biggest news for the weekend, Premier League wise, was the return of a striker who the Premier League has been sorely missing.
I know.
Big Ivan Toney was back, and in typical Toney fashion, he was being a shithouse.
Oh, mate.
So if you might not have seen this, I'm presuming since you're watching this, you're a fan of football, so you probably have. What he did was they got a free kick in the edge of the box. The referee puts the foam down and moves to correct the wall's position, make sure they're all in the right spot. Toney decides he doesn't like where the ball's been put, so he moves it a bit to the right. Decides he's still not happy, so he moves it a bit further to the right. And so the referee doesn't notice. He picks up the foam and puts it round where he's placed the ball.
Scoops the foam. He scooped the foam and then made another wee semicircle.
And then scores from the resulting free kick. So, like, it's just typical Toney.
I think I saw somebody on Twitter, it was, it might have been Chris Sutton or something, but like, the biggest thing for me is there was 5 Nottingham Forest players just watching him do it and no saying anything, or not even saying to the keeper like he's moved the ball.
Yeah, it is completely naive from the Nottingham Forest wall. And also, I mean, we might mention this later, but Hudson-Odoi standing just beside the ball, and then when the free kick comes in, he just puts a leg vaguely out to try and block it. See, if he was in the wall, he'd have blocked that. He would have just been in the way. I suppose Toney probably would have just moved it a bit further along.
He'd just keep moving it.
But the thing is, Toney said to justify this, you've got half a yard either way.
Have you?
No.
I'm sure once the ref puts the foam around the ball, that's where the ball's got to be.
He just made that
half a yard makes a difference.
It's a huge difference. But he said it with such confidence that even Sue Smith, who is like a pundit that does like Soccer Saturday and all that kind of stuff.
Like an ex-pro
she's an ex-professional footballer. She was like, oh, can you? I didn't know that. Just because he said it with such confidence, and it was the Sky Sports presenter was like, no, you can't do that.
The Donald Trump method, man. Just be loud and confident, and everybody will just agree.
Exactly. If I say this bold enough, people are just going to have to agree. Now, when I messaged you about this, I described this as cheating, and you were quick to correct me and say, no, gamesmanship.
I love it, gamesmanship, mate.
Well, a lot of ex-pros were saying, the footballers will take any chance to get an advantage. And it's like, but you moan at people diving. What's the difference with this,
Because like, he's testing the ref. The ref should like notice that, or like stop. Like,
I'm sure that's what divers used to say before VAR came in as well. So I wanted to go back and look at some previous examples of people testing the ref or cheating, or gamesmanship, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And the prime example I could think of, and it's a shame because we're talking about one of the greatest footballers of his generation here, was Rivaldo in the 2002 World Cup against Turkey.
Yep.
If you've not seen this, YouTube it. It's one of the funniest clips you'll ever see. So it's a corner to Brazil. Rivaldo's waiting to take it. And I'm trying to think, what was the name of the guy? Unsal, the Turkish player, goes to...
Hakan Unsal.
Yeah, he goes to kick the ball to Rivaldo, but he punts it at him as hard as he can. Like, he is being a dick, but not to the extent that Rivaldo makes it. punts at him, it twats Rivaldo in the knee, and he goes down like that.
No, there's a 3-second delay, and then he hits the deck holding his face.
Rolling about, like, holding his face, pure.
He sent off, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the second yellow card offence.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, the thing is, because of how hard he kicked it and the fact that it was clearly trying to, like, hurt him a bit with it, he might have got a yellow card for that anyway. Maybe not then, but now you would get a yellow card for that. But
it's the time between the ball hitting him. You can see him thinking about it like, hold on a minute, if I go down here, he's off.
And obviously no VAR in 2002. So
he's probably looking at him like, hold on, he's booked.
But the problem what I have with it is the linesman's right next to him. Surely he must have seen where it hit him. Like, I don't know, maybe he was just thinking of something else. But the other thing is with that Brazil team, right, they don't need to cheat.
Oh no, I know, but like they used to, was it, I think it was a World Cup after it, 2006, where they scored a goal that had like 4 handballs in it.
Yeah, that is true. But just to put it in context, that team, right? So these some of the players in it: Rocky Jr., Cafu, Lucio, Roberto Carlos, Gilberto Silva, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Middlesbrough legend Juninho Paulista. Lest we forget. But like, it's you don't need to do that, lads. You're fucking class.
I know.
You
take every edge you can get, though.
Aye, true. But it's just, like I say, it's a shame that that's what people remember Rivaldo. That's the first thing that springs to mind when I think of Rivaldo, despite the fact he was one of my favourite players.
Overhead kick against Valencia.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When I actually think about it, I got to deal. But when I hear his name, the image that comes to mind is him hitting the deck, like you say, after a 3-second delay. A couple other terrible dives. You might not remember all these, but they're definitely worth going on YouTube. And if you don't, Ashley Young for Man United against Real Sociedad. The guy basically stands still. He runs past him, brushes off him, and just throws himself to the ground.
Ashley Young was an excellent diver.
Yeah.
He was so good at it because he would run at you with the ball and then kick it past you and then kick you and then flail his legs a bit and then that'd be it. Penalty.
Well, and I know this will sound ridiculous, he was brought in to replace Cristiano Ronaldo, so he obviously thought he had to take up his diving quota as well. Think of that.
Was he brought in to replace Ronaldo?
It wasn't long after he left that Young joined. I'm not saying that was directly the choice, because I think they were hoping that Nani would fill that role as well. But yeah, Kyle Lafferty, Charlie Mulgrew.
Oh, no, let's not go there, mate. I'll start getting sectarian, man.
No, right, okay. No, we do need to talk about this because you also need to watch this. But Lafferty, like, empties Mulgrew.
Yeah.
Mulgrew stands up and squares up to him. And they, like, their heads touch and Lafferty throws himself to the ground like he's been punched.
It was an exact copy of Alan Thompson, Peter Lovenkrands for way back in the day as well. Exact same thing happened.
I mean, he
hit head to head and one day.
He hit the ground with the same ferocity as Rivaldo did, to be fair. But in the end, Mulgrew ends up getting sent off because the referee just assumes that he must have done it.
Must have wrapped it at him.
The red card got rescinded and all that kind of stuff, and I think Lafferty ended up getting punished, which is good because he's a horrible weak cunt anyway. Like.
There we go. Do you remember Alexis Sanchez with the throw-in for Arsenal? There was like, I can't remember what team they were playing. The guy was, I think it might have been Stoke. I think it might have been Rory Delap trying to do one of his long throws, and he was tasked with like standing right on the touchline and like just like blocking him so that he can't like get the like as close to the touchline as he wants. And he keeps running up to do the shy, and Sanchez keeps jumping, and he keeps walking back, and then eventually he just goes, do you know what, fuck it, and just hits him with the ball quite gently. And then Sanchez does a Rivaldo. He's feel like, YouTube it, mate.
I mean, like, I find it hard to have anything bad to say about Sanchez because he was brilliant at Arsenal and then went to Man United and was shite, and for that I love you, Alexis, I really do. A couple other things, these aren't dives. Sergio Ramos making a save against Real Sociedad and then holding his face to get away with it, and obviously no VAR, so he did. And it was really important because he was on a yellow card. I mean, of course he wasn't. Sergio Ramos.
Like, mate, he started games in yellow cards.
Came out the womb. Caught a booking, man. Like,
he got booked in the womb.
He 2-feeted his boss straight away. The old baby's kick and the woman, he was fucking...
He was just 2 foot in the uterus.
He was going for it.
Oh, brilliant.
He's not the only one. Obviously, there was Luis Suarez against Ghana in the World
I
Cup.
thought you were going to talk about biting.
Oh, no, that's not gamesmanship. That's assault. That's different.
That's a bit of gamesmanship. Just a wee bite.
Just a bite in the buttocks between friends.
A wee nibble.
No, Suarez against Ghana for Uruguay.
When he punches the ball away.
They're going for the equaliser. And he makes a fantastic save, it's got to be said, Suarez. He does get caught. They do get a penalty. He gets sent off. But the Ghana striker misses the penalty. Can you remember?
He's walking off crying.
Can you remember who the striker was?
It was Sunderland legend, Gian.
It was Asamoah Gyan. Yeah, but he is. You're right. He's walking off crying, like pulling his shirt
It turns out and he's like celebrating.
Aye.
It just bites a steward. It's just sheer joy, man.
He can't help himself.
3 times he bit people.
Aye, I know.
Did you ever see the one he did for Ajax? That was the worst one.
Oh, worse than Ivanovic, where he absolutely grabs his arm.
Worse, mate.
Genuinely.
Aye. So, like, it's he's arguing with a guy, like, it's like a contentious decision, and he just bites him here, like, right in the fucking clavicle, man.
The other one was Chiellini, was it, in the for Italy? Aye. What a...
Bit in Italian in the back. In Brazil. Just like your dad did when he was in the Navy.
Also, the boldness to think, do you know what, I'm going to bite Chiellini and Ivanovic. They are hard bastards. They will end you. Like, I
know, but like, you see, like, if you like leave studs on Chiellini or Ivanovic, they're going to forget about that next day.
Aye.
Bite a cunt. That sticks to you, man. You'll remember that for the rest of your life.
Well, Patrice Evra certainly remembered it when he got that. Someone threw him a decapitated arm, and he would just die.
Aye.
Yeah. We won't go into the details of why they had a beef because we've covered that already today. Adebayor, I think he slapped one in against United as well, and that stood. It's probably the most useful thing he did for Arsenal, to be fair. Henry against Ireland played a bit of basketball and then set up a teammate.
Fair play to him, man. I know, like, pretty much everybody I went to school with will be fucking up in arms, but
I know.
Fair play, like, for even trying it, like, it's balls out.
Honestly, some of the Irish people I know and I'm related to are more angry about that than the entirety of the British history with Ireland, genuinely. Like, that was their best chance of going to a World Cup in ages. And they're like...
Never mind Cromwell, Henry. He's the real fucking villain.
Oh, man. So it's good that we've got a bit more light-hearted. That's nice. Have you got any more examples, or are you happy to go
Belter with Mourinho. Real Madrid against Ajax, where he told Xabi Alonso and Sergio Ramos to get sent off because they were on bans getting into the knockout stages. So they just intentionally get sent off. Have you ever seen how Ramos got his second yellow? It was hilarious. It was an offside and it was to take the free kick and he just stood there. And the ref was like, hurry up. And he's like, no. And he keeps running up to the ball and going, do you know what? Nah. And then the ref's like, I need to send you off now. And he's like, fair play.
But that's so Mourinho, that kind of tactic. Yeah, he was the king of that kind of stuff.
I love that patter.
I should also say, what was it not Lascelles against Arsenal last year? They threw an extra ball on the pitch when Arsenal were trying to counter-attack and score a goal. Yeah.
Brilliant.
There's apparently rumours that people are trying to sign him as well. But that's where we'll go now, transfer news. And a lot of it is around Newcastle at the moment.
Yep.
It's
because we need to generate some funds because we're not going to qualify for the Champions League. The Almiron's going to go for like 90 million. I guarantee you. I guarantee you're going to see some. I saw a tweet with Paddy Power, and it was like they're going to sign Almiron for like 80 million, Trippier for 100 million, and the guy who punched that horse for 80 million.
That's the difference between Geordies and Glaswegians. There was an incident at a football match where a Newcastle fan punched a police officer.
Yep.
In Glasgow, was there not one where he tried to feed it a Greg sausage roll? So what?
Feed a bowl of sauce.
I think that was at that party in the Park King, you know, that for the royal wedding.
Oh, was it?
And just so everyone in England knows, because there was a lot of news coverage of that, thinking that we were genuinely having a party to celebrate the royal wedding. We were having a party because we were told we were allowed
Aye, you're allowed to do this outside. Aye,
no one there
sunny.
gave a fuck about the royal wedding, I assure you, and that's why it descended into chaos. But no, 30 million's what I'm hearing for him, for Al Shabab, I think it is, in Saudi Arabia, which is a profit on what you bought him for.
Yeah,
but I heard some people saying he's probably worth more than that, and he is just coming off the back of his best season. That is true. But he's what, he's 27. I know he looks like a child, but and he's not exactly put up insane numbers his entire career. So.
I'd say 30 million is like a decent valuation.
Yeah, I would take 30 million. It's profit, and it will help you fix other areas of the team. Although with Joel Linton out, can you afford to lose him?
We've got like wingers. Got loads of wingers.
That's convincing, Paddy. Yeah.
No, we don't actually. We can't afford to lose anybody because we've got so many injuries.
Aye,
that's the reason.
And Joe Linton's out till May now, so
it's probably best to just give up next season now because it's not going to happen.
Aye. Well, apparently
any sort of European like Conference League, Europa League, that would be a good successful season for Newcastle.
Well, apparently if and when you do sell Amoron, because if he doesn't go this window, I reckon he will go the next one if they're really keen to get him. You're looking to bring in Morgan Gibbs-White to replace him.
Good player.
Very good player. He's 23. He can play up front, either wing. He can play midfield. And obviously, Forrest will probably need money just as much as you guys will.
Big time.
Although he'll be expensive.
Aye, English, young and English.
Aye, and like we say, he's very, very good. So if you could get that done, that'd be a real good bit of business. You rejected a bid for Kieran Trippier?
Aye, because it was fucking ridiculous.
£13 million.
Best player on the team.
He's worth so much more than that. Like
Newcastle signed him for 12 though. Which is just a great bit of business. But he must have only had like a year left in his deal or something.
Yeah. And also when you think about Atletico and the way they play, like so much of it is reliant on energy and speed and all that kind of stuff that maybe they were thinking at 33 he's not got it anymore, but he's done the job.
When I sent it to you said Bayern are trying to build an England Masters team.
Yeah.
They'll be signing Henderson next.
Oh no, Ajax, that's done. I know. That's all a done deal. So that's a wee update from last time. Yeah, he's moved there. But 13 million is an insult. The thing is with Trippier, because he's not only really good at defending, he gives so many assists, he takes all their set pieces, and I think he's their on-field captain because Lascelles doesn't play that often.
Yeah.
He's worth way more than £13 million. His value in Newcastle is more than I think any other team are going to be willing to pay.
Aye.
So I know you've got Livermento, but the likelihood is unless a team like from Saudi came in and said we'll give you 50 million for him, he's not going anywhere.
Might happen.
Might happen, but at this rate, no one's going to want to go there anymore because every player that moved over to Saudi Arabia, surprise, found out that the lifestyle isn't that great, that they're not having a very good time, and most of them want to come home or come back to Europe.
And like, I think I read something about Henderson. Apparently, he won't make any money because you have to stay there for 2 years for it to be tax free. So
the thing was, if in order for it to be tax free here, like so you don't get taxed on your income in the UK as a UK resident, he would need to have stayed there for 2 years because then he'd have been earning for 2 years outside. That would have been his residence. That would have been his home.
Yeah.
But he deferred his wages originally, I think, to try and help with that tax situation. So he hasn't been paid at all for his time over in Saudi Arabia. So there is a chance now that his contract's been cancelled, he's going to get no money for it whatsoever. I'm guessing he probably didn't need to pay for food or anything like that. Like they would have put him up with his house and all that kind of stuff. So I reckon all his amenities would have been free. So he basically had 6 months living in another country for no money. But sounds like it wasn't a great place to live.
Plus playing in front of like 800 people is just miserable, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially after playing in front, like at Anfield, like
every week,
causing a noise, and then you go there. Anyone could have told you that though. Callum Wilson was apparently Atletico Madrid made a loan offer for him. Don't know what they were thinking, trying to get him on loan.
Atletico are doing weird shit, man.
Yeah. And AC Milan, which is just mental to me.
I know. Like,
Callum Wilson's a good player, but AC Milan are one of the biggest clubs in the world. That's just bizarre. The idea of him
Who've Milan got up front? Giroud still?
Rafael Leao.
Aye, but he plays in the wing, doesn't he?
Yeah. Giroud is still there, yeah. I can't think of who else they would have through the centre. And to be fair, they've turned Giroud's had a good career there. He's doing really well. So
phenomenal football.
There's no reason to say why Callum Wilson wouldn't work well there, but just the idea of him in a AC Milan kit, it's just, I don't know. My brain can't handle it. I'm not having it like at all. It doesn't look like you're going to get Calvin Phillips because apparently West Ham have agreed a loan for him. It's not done yet. Other teams might still come in, but it's looking like they're in pole position to get him.
He would be ideal for when Joe Linton's out.
Aye. He's a really good player, Phillips. But that they're going to have quite a stacked midfield with Paqueta, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Phillips, Souček. There's a lot that you can do with that. In fact, Pablo Fornals as well. He's not a bad player. So there's a lot of options in there.
And 6 in the league.
Aye.
It's mental.
And still moaning about it.
When did that happen? It seemed to have went unnoticed. Just
it's
quietly
mad.
Picking up points.
Because when Moyes made a substitution to take off Corney and bring on Turner at the weekend, the fans started shouting, "You don't know what you're doing."
I'm sure he does.
You're in fucking 6th.
And you won a European competition last season.
Maybe it's because they're used to being in 14th. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing.
Stop putting us in 6th. That's fucking ridiculous.
It's stressful. Every game means something.
But that is just mental. A couple other wee bits and pieces for transfer news. Dendoncker leaving Villa. He's hardly played at all. He's going to go to Napoli and have a fucking wonderful time there.
Yep.
Yeah. Some rumours. Al Nassr are interested in Casemiro.
He's a Saudi player.
Yeah.
His career's pretty much over.
Although Benzema might be, because I think they were quite pally. Benzema might be messing him saying, "Just fucking don't, mate." Because he wants to come back over. But he's United. I get why that makes sense because they'll probably get a lot of money for him. They'll get his wages off their bill. But he's also easily their best defensive midfielder, which is a position they are weak at. So it's a bit mad to let him go. Forrester in for Giovanni Reina. A good young player, but it would only be a loan. I can't see Dortmund going for that. Chelsea are going for Benzema because of course they are.
Right.
But it doesn't really fit their transfer policy.
Keep him the number 9 and ruin his career. Retire him.
That is the benefit of going at Benzema's age. It is impossible to ruin his career.
I know, they will retire him within 3 months, man.
Aye. It doesn't fit their model though. They like to buy young and try and sell for profit. So I don't know that will actually happen. Be a very quiet transfer window. I'm not sure that's going to change too much over the last week, but it is what it is. You never know with the Premier League. People just go mental and start spending money.
It tends to be in the last couple of days where the roundabout starts. Somebody makes a big fucking bid for something and then it starts on motion.
The main thing clubs have been doing is loaning out players and try to move players around to other teams rather than bring in stuff for themselves. So again, it's just try to take the wage bills down at this time. So I think that's what most clubs are focused on. Right, let's see. Do we have time to go into this? We'll have a wee chat about this. The winter break. It always comes up this time of year. People want to talk about this, whether England should have one or not. Most countries in Europe do. If you were unaware, this season has seen the highest average injury rate of the past 5 years. More football's been played. Obviously, had the Winter World Cup last year. That didn't help. Teams like Newcastle and Tottenham have been particularly badly affected by this. You can see it on the pitch. In fact, I've got a list of the number of injuries that teams have at the moment. So this isn't over the course of the season.
Is this just now. Today?
Yeah. So Bournemouth have 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with 7, which would normally be considered quite a lot.
Yeah.
Brentford have 9. Chelsea also have 9. Liverpool have 8. Newcastle United have 10. Forest have 12. Tottenham have 11. It's clearly something's going on. That's not normal numbers. So do you think there is a value in having a break to try and get people to recover?
That's what you do. If every other league in Europe's doing it, that tells you something. Do you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
And the warmer countries than the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you think about it, I know that it's a completely different level of quality and all that kind of stuff. But Celtic usually go to like Dubai for warm weather training during Christmas, like during the winter break, and usually we come back. Celtic come back a much better team for doing so. Like the second half of the season are really, really strong. So it does work. There is benefits to be had from it, and if it can help players not get injured so often, it'll not only improve the season, but it'll prolong their careers, which are short.
Plus, it means that you can build that into people's recovery. If somebody needs like a minor operation, you could do that a couple of weeks before the break, and then you're not going to lose them.
Aye.
Whereas if you leave it and then it gets worse and they have to fucking take 6 weeks out.
100%. And like it can make a big difference if you're in a run of bad form as well. Just getting time to go away, decompress and all that kind of stuff. You can come back and try again. Some people have put forward the idea of just papping the League Cup to the side because again, lots of leagues in Europe don't have one. There's quite strong arguments for this, one of which being the prize money for the League Cup. Do you want to guess how much the winner of the League Cup in England gets as prize money?
£1 million. What?
£100,000.
Is it?
That is the prize winning amount for the
that wee 16-year-old boy won merit at darts.
Yes. I know.
One more for like eating a couple of cunts at darts and sinking pints.
You can win more from a fucking scratch card.
That's true. A £2 scratch card you win. That's nuts. Instead of spending all that money in wages, just buy hundreds of lottery tickets.
Aye, honestly, like that wouldn't cover like most of the club's one player at the last like 5 teams that have won its
cover the
wage
fucking
for a
kitman's
week.
wages for the year.
Like it's mental. Like maybe they should just get rid of it. I don't know. Although it gives smaller teams a chance to win it, like win a tournament, because the big teams don't take it as seriously. So, you know, and Chelsea might win it this year, so that'd be nice for them. Let's go on to the games for the weekend. Then, boy, did Arsenal need a win, and they got one in quite some fashion. 4 points in the last 5 games before that. It was a really bad run, and I think Jesus and Zinchenko coming back made a real big difference in this game. Zinchenko, it's not just because of the defensive work he does, but it's that Roman fullback.
Moving into the midfield, it gives you an overload in the midfield every time. Yeah. And like teams don't know how to deal with it. Like once he moves into there, it frees up somebody else because somebody's got to go and pick him up.
Especially with someone like him, because he plays in midfield for Ukraine. And he's actually an attacking midfielder in Ukraine, so his ball control and his passing ability is all really good.
It's mad, like when you've got like a player that plays for a small country. Doesn't matter where he plays. Like if he's really good, like put him wherever he wants. Like Gareth Bale used to play through the middle for Wales.
That's true.
Just fucking put him up front, man. Like get him in there.
Well, I mean, we've been trying to do that in Scotland because all our good players are left.
We're going to have Scott McTominay as a centre forward.
Well, thankfully now we've got people like John McGinn and all that. But like for years it was just, how do we get Tierney and Robertson into the same team, like with difficulty as it happened. So they went away and did warm weather training. Apparently, all they did during warm weather training was set piece stuff with their new set piece coach. And
is that a new thing? That must be a new thing.
Well,
I'd never heard of a set piece coach.
So I think it kind of got started to get a bit popular about 2 seasons ago, but it was still rare. Like it would be mentioned if a team had a set piece coach. And now
it's going to end up like the NFL, or the manager's going to be cutting about with headsets and 40 guys. Where's the throw-in coach?
Well,
Arsenal got a throw-in routine apparently. I was reading an Athletic article about it. Like they're revolutionising throw-ins.
Well, the thing is,
just
like
a guy with all the X's and circles, arrows.
Maybe that's what Alexis Sanchez was doing. Maybe it was all part of the plan. But like it worked, because I think 2 of their goals, the first 2 goals, were directly from corners. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And
although the second goal get attributed as an OG with the keeper, bullshit. It was on target.
I would say that as well, but Maybe it's because it completely changed direction when he's hit his head. I don't know. I think it's harsh on the goalie and harsh on Gabriel.
It doesn't matter if it hits keeper or not.
I think if Gabriel was amongst the top goals, if he was a striker amongst the top goal scorers, he'd kick up more of a fuck. But he was just happy to score the first one.
He's happy to be there. He's happy to be at his.
Happy to have all his teeth. He always gets his teeth knocked out in football games, man. Just a side note, that's true.
Does he?
Quite often. So Trossard played quite an important role in both of them. Well, if you noticed this, he would block off Anderson from making defensive runs. And Anderson's a really good defender, Joachim Anderson. And he'd be the one that would usually go and attack the ball from a corner. And Trossard's job was just to get in his way so he couldn't do it. And it meant that the guy marking Gabriel, Richardson, I think his name was, who I've never seen him before. He must be quite new or quite young, and he just didn't know how to handle it, how to handle Gabriel. And both times they just managed to beat him.
The actual corner itself, the ball in for the second one was an absolute screamer. It was right in the top of the back post.
That even if Gabriel didn't get that, I think there's someone behind him, Havertz. So no banker that is going in. But there was another person there. It was such a good ball, so difficult to try and deal with if you're a defensive team. But
I know you hate him, but see, for the third goal, Raya should get an assist. To get the ball forward rapid. It was a Schmeichel throw, mate. I'm pretty sure it crossed the halfway line.
Schmeichel never fell over whilst throwing the ball out, though.
Sure he did.
I don't think so. I think the ground would have given way under him, man. No, I will get on to compliment him, but I do want to first of all
slag him.
Yeah.
Aye.
Because again, he's just they're passing it around at the back. Saliba does actually quite a nice wee bit of skill when they're playing out from the back. Give it to Raya, who for no reason just decides, I'm going to wallop this. And then it goes straight to a Crystal Palace player.
Yep.
I said it before, I'll say it again. I'm so much more afraid of him in goal than I ever was with Ramsdale. I don't know what Ramsdale did. I don't know why he felt the need to bring in another goalie, because all it's done is upset the balance of that team.
Upset the apple cart.
Yes, exactly. Or upset the onions, since we try and include onions in every saying now. Yeah, I just think it's mental that he's getting picked all the time. You're right, it was a good throw to set up the attack, but I still
hate him.
No, I don't hate him. He gives me the fear when he's in goal.
You just hate Spanish people. That's what it is.
Oh, aye. That's why you've never heard me worship Santi Cazorla.
Big Santi, big Santa
big,
Cazorla. Big. He's big to me. I'm Toty.
Oh man, it's still my favourite quote about him. I think it was Jamie Redknapp said you couldn't get the ball off him in a phone box.
That's class.
I loved him. It was some good football from Arsenal in general. Jesus played some. When he sort of moved out wide and links up the play, which I think is probably where he's best, and where he would play if Arsenal got another centre forward or a striker in. He did this beautiful little dink into Trossard, who maybe should have scored, but he just puts it wide. And when him and Zinchenko are back in the team, it just gives him so much more creativity and ability to pick that pass and do that kind of thing. Basically, what Jesus does is what Havertz was brought in to do. And I don't think, obviously Jesus isn't fit all the time, but I don't think we should have signed Havertz for a number of reasons. Chiefly because we've got players that can do that already, and secondly because there were bigger areas of deficiency in Arsenal that they needed to fix. And no disrespect, obviously I was saying a couple of weeks ago, Havertz has got 4 goals in 7 games. Is this a turnaround for him? Turns out he just had a bit of purple patch form-wise, and he's gone back to the way he was.
Back to being pure shite.
That's so harsh on him. But he goes back to. I bet he goes back to Germany and tears it up again.
You go to Leverkusen and just pure romp it. Granit Xhaka has been phenomenal for them apparently.
Yeah, he has, and they're top of the Bundesliga right now.
Mental. And Girona are top of La Liga.
Aye, and it's a City group team. Real underdogs, so to be fair to Girona, they only recently got bought over and they had to work their way up and all that kind of stuff, so it is still quite impressive. But it's nice to see that the Tottenham effect is still in full swing with Harry Kane at Bayern Munich.
Aye.
Were they 6 in the Bundesliga or something like that?
No, I think they're third.
Third? Oh.
Aye. But they've lost 4 or 5 games already this season, which is unheard of.
Aye, absolutely, yeah. And that's why Tuchel's brought in Eric Dyer, because if anyone will fix that, it's more former Tottenham players. Kieran Trippier as well, actually.
Oh, I know, mate.
That's what he is. Maybe Tuchel's just a big Tottenham fan. Maybe that's why he didn't stick it around at Chelsea. We do need to talk about what else was there? I don't want to go into the Palace fans just yet. Martinelli, couple of really nice finishes. Obviously, at that point in the game, Palace had just
it looked like they gave up.
Like throughout the entirety of the game, especially with the fact that Zinchenko was coming up into the midfield, they sat back, and Arsenal had so many players in that midfield, and they're all good on the ball.
Yeah.
And there was no pressure put on them whatsoever. They just had time. If every team that beats Arsenal, they don't like it up them, to use that old cliche. They really don't. Like, if you get in Arsenal's faces, they panic. They do not like
That's
it.
what Newcastle have done.
Exactly.
Last two games against Arsenal.
If you want success against Arsenal, you need to press them. You need to get in their faces, let them know you're there. Exactly. Hit them hard. That used to be the thing people would say. The only way to stop Arsenal is to hurt them.
Kick them.
Exactly. So that is the way you stop Arsenal. That's the way you get a result against them. And they did like the exact opposite. Stood off them and let them play. And the passing for the third goal, the fourth goal, sorry, or was it the fifth? Jorginho's ball over the top. It was absolutely beautiful, but the time he had to do it. And then Martinelli's quick, but they all just went, clearly we're not catching him.
I know, it looked like they tried to play a pure lazy offside trap or something, or they just couldn't be fucked chasing.
Just what's the difference between 4 and 5?
There's no many teams that will take 5 off of Crystal Palace, by the way.
I know.
They're usually defensively sound.
But I don't want to give Arsenal too much credit. For Arsenal played well, but it was a real off day for Palace. And I reckon
big boy.
City or Liverpool would have skumped them by a similar amount.
Yeah.
So that has to be borne in mind.
Skumped? Did you say skumped?
Skumped, aye.
Is that a word, or did you?
Aye, a skumping.
What?
You skumped
I
them?
thought you were confusing like scud. I thought you were like combining scud and pump.
Paul, have you
Skumped?
heard the term scump?
No.
Okay.
I've skumped.
I'm googling that after the show because
I thought you were trying to say scudded and pumped at the same time. Skumped.
You did this with Sclaff last time. Remember?
I know that's true. I won't up to that. If I'm right again, fuck it. I'll do a public apology video.
No, you won't. But maybe bring it up on this, but there's no way you're doing an individual video.
I'm doing a video. I'm going to do it like a hostage situation.
Speaking of
skumped
apology videos, I think the Palace fans might need to do one.
Why?
Holding up the banners, wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions taking us backwards. It's interesting that because they're enjoying their longest period ever in the top flight of English football.
Aye.
They've been in it for 10 years. This is their 11th season. The longest stretch in the Premier League before that was 4 years, and that was in the old Division 1.
Was that the Cantona kick days?
No, I think they were only up for one season at that point.
Oh, was it?
Aye. And not only that, every season before that, they'd never finished higher than they are now. Like the 14th.
It's not bad for a pub in Jamaica Street.
Like.
Yeah. Pub team.
They are a pub team. Yeah, a Wetherspoons team. But I don't know what they want. Palace fans. What do you want? What do you think you deserve? Like, genuinely. Surely being a steady Premier League team is about.
It must be boring though, man.
Aye, but I reckon
because they've not really been involved in any real relegation battles in the last few years, and they've no got anywhere near Europe, so it must just be dull. Just fucking.
No, Brentford are having a ball in time doing that.
I know, but see, just the thrill of narrowly avoiding relegation, that's something to play for. They've just never get anything to play for because they're just consistently mid.
So Palace fans want to be slightly worse so they can panic through most of the season.
I'm saying that's why they feel like they've no went anywhere.
Yeah, no, I get it. You might expect after 10 years that you would make progress and be higher up in the league, but you've got to look at some of the big names that are not only in the Championship but in League One now. Aye, exactly. Coventry used to be a massive football team. Bradford were in the Premier League years ago. Be careful what you wish for, guys. You don't have a God-given right to be in the Premier League. You don't. And the fact that you're consistently finishing 14th, 15th, most clubs would fucking kill for that. I don't get what they want. I do think that hiring Roy on a permanent basis this season probably was a mistake. You brought him in to survive last year.
Just the guy's like 98.
Aye, yeah, that doesn't help. And an ill, of course. But they're 15th. They're 5 points clear of the relegation zone. I don't think they're going to go down because I think the 3 promoted teams will. I don't know what you hope for, guys. Unless you get bought over by insanely rich people who want to pump money in the club, I don't know what you're going to get. And there's too many other teams in London with bigger catchment areas and all that kind of stuff.
Catchment areas like schools?
Yeah, for recruiting, for the youth academies and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So Brentford don't have one because they know it's pointless because they've got Chelsea and Fulham at contend with.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
West Ham.
Wasn't he as drivellingly stupid as it sounded, was it, Patrick?
It's just because I've never had catchment areas and football in the same.
We'll go Liverpool, Bournemouth. Who the fuck needs Mo Salah, eh?
No, Juan de Caro, Diego Jota.
I mean, Bournemouth have been really impressive before this game, and they actually looked quite good at points in it.
First half they
started really well, and they played some nice stuff. But you've come to expect that from them now. Let's go to the Kluivert Diaz incident.
Red card.
Do you think so?
Aye.
I think what's got him away with it is his eyes are clearly on the ball, and the attention that McAllister's given him might mean that's a reason. I just
think like it could have been a really nasty injury.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So like I think you're in danger now.
Well, I think Diaz got taken off.
But it could have been like if that was Jibril Cisse, who's got tracing paper ankles, like it would have snapped.
It's a dated reference, but yeah.
Well, we know I'm talking.
I do.
Do you know Snappy's ankle day in a fucking Cruyff turn one time? I'm pretty sure he did a turn on the ball and just snapped his ankle.
He retired like surprisingly recently as well. I remember like it came out on Twitter or something like that he'd retired, and I was like, how's he still playing, man?
Legs are half made of mechanical these days.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's because he's looking at the ball because McAllister's like getting a bit argy-bargy with him. That's maybe. And I thought you were going to bring up the fact that I just used the term argy-bargy.
I like that you're on the defence just now. Everything you say, you're like dodging blows.
But I could see it being given. Like I wouldn't surprise me if he got sent off for that. And I don't think it might have been harsh, but I don't think you could really argue too much against it. And Liverpool fans will probably feel annoyed that he didn't get sent off. But they came out in the second half looking like an entirely different team.
Aye.
Bournemouth still had a couple of chances, but the passing from Liverpool looked really, really good. McAllister in particular had a brilliant game.
Aye.
Like he had to fill that Trent role with him being out, and some of the long balls he was playing and stuff like that, the defensive work. He is doing a CDM's role right now.
Aye, if you give him space on the ball as well, he's going to make something happen as well as the work he does after the ball. You
just think when they actually get a centre defensive midfielder in, like to do that job and free him up to do his actual job, they're going to be even better, man. Like
Fabinho, just somebody a Fabinho-like player.
Exactly, yeah. Calvin Phillips, maybe.
As if City's got a key on Liverpool.
To be fair, Phillips is he's very good, but he's quite a laid back. He's he'll sit deep and just play the balls. He doesn't do the running that I think a Liverpool CDM needs to do. So. Juan de Caro swept it into the corner of the net.
Yep.
It was a pretty nice finish.
Good finish, good movement for both his goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure how he meant his second goal though.
He looked like he slipped when he hit it.
Yeah.
But like, you take him.
Like, oh, absolutely. Like, that's the magic of Juan de Caro. Is you can't tell whether he's done something brilliant because he meant to, because he is capable.
Aye.
Or if he's just fallen over and it's gone that way. Like,
he's always on the edge of being like great and pure shite at the same time. Like, you just don't know where you're going to get. But I think like with Salah being out, if he could score a few, he might go on a wee run.
Well, that's the thing with I was about to say with Carroll, with Nunez.
Wendy.
He's got 20 goal involvements this season.
That's decent.
It's really good.
Decent for when you're playing the same team as Salah.
Exactly, yeah. And we're in January. That's a lot to have by now. I think he's got 10 goals, 10 assists, which is really, really good, especially for someone who isn't starting every game. Do we underestimate how good he is because of the amount of times
the high-profile misses?
Yeah, because he'll miss chances or he'll do something daft. And there's all these little things he does. It's like when he has a bad patch of form, it's so much more exacerbated than maybe some other people, or like when he does anything bad, it looks so comical because he's a massive guy with a ponytail.
I think the problem is his wee stupid beard. It's annoying. He looks like an extra for Pirates in the Caribbean.
That is your problem. Shave that off.
He looks like a shit Orlando Bloom.
Well, I'm sure somebody pointed.
Who's already shit.
I'm sure somebody pointed out recently that there isn't a player in the Liverpool starting 11 that doesn't have facial hair. It doesn't have a beard or a mustache. I can't. Really? It must have been a football podcast I was listening to, but apparently,
fucking big Ian Rush.
The Liverpool penalty claim. Zabarnyi on Jota. What do you think?
Like,
is there enough contact?
It's one of the ones the ref gives it. Don't see VAR overturning it the other way. It's debatable. Like, but. I don't think if the ref doesn't get it, I wouldn't overturn it.
When I first saw it, I thought it was, and then I saw it from another angle, and I was like, maybe because his foot's blocked, the other Jota's foot, maybe you could give that as a foul. But I think it would have been harsh. I don't think there's enough contact to go down. But he scored 2 goals. Nunez scored 2 goals. Jota to me is like a better Trossard. Because Trossard scored again for Arsenal. Like, he's a good squad player, Trossard, but you wouldn't want him to be the guy you're banking on to start. But he's got goals and assists in him. Jota's just a level above that.
He's a complete player.
He's such a good player to have in your team because he will always contribute with goals.
And you can play him through the middle or the wide.
He's quite underrated because he's in the same team as Salah. But yeah, he's a really good player, and they'll need him whilst Salah's out. Start of the season, you didn't have Liverpool to finish in the top 4. Just wanted to remind you of that.
Get up, you. What's this attack for?
I'm assuming you're changing
I'm going to dig
now.
up your fucking bottom 3 and see how you're doing.
I'm 2 out of 3 right.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well then, I'll see who's the third that's no right.
Wolves.
Hi, you fucking Dundee United. Get up, you.
So did you. You had to
for fuck's sake.
Well, my point is, I'm assuming you've changed that then, because to me, they're clearly the team that's going to be competing with City for the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look really, really good.
Aye.
We'll do just a quick word on Sheffield United West Ham. Just the end of the game.
Oh, mate, the end of the game was insane.
Because there's penalties we need to talk about. Start off with the Ryan Brewster challenge on Emerson. Yellow or red? That one?
I'd say red.
He's a bit out of control.
Aye.
It wasn't as dangerous as some other tackles you see because of the height of his foot and stuff like that, but it could result in a leg breaking, but just because of the speed he's gone into.
Endangering an opponent. The same as the Clive one.
It was a young striker's tackle, that one. Like it was properly dangerous. Sheffield United penalty? Not a penalty.
No.
If anything, Ollie McBurney has fouled the goalkeeper. He slapped his arm into his face. I can't conceive of the VAR that looked at that.
And like the goalkeeper went half injured.
He's not tried to get the ball. He's just tried to impede the goalkeeper, and they get a penalty for it. I have no idea what they were thinking. And then,
it was the latest goal in Premier League history.
That can't be true, surely.
It was, mate. It was 103rd minute or something? It was later than Coyte's.
Oh no! See, logically, my thinking was surely that Bruno Fernandes penalty that was after the game finished must have been later than that, but we didn't do the added on time.
It was before the minutes, because I think out of the top 10, 8 of them are this season because of the mad timings that we've been on.
That does make sense.
The latest goal. But there should have been another penalty up the other end, but I think the only reason that wasn't given against it was Bowen, and I don't know who the defender was, is because they just gave a penalty. They're like, I can't get another.
But they're both holding on to each other in that situation, so I could see why.
But if it's a penalty the other end, that's definitely a penalty.
Yeah. I mean, Wolves fans must be watching that, the goalkeeper like getting penalised for that and going, Onana, mate.
Aye.
He actually fucking clocked one of our players and got nothing for it. He also got dropped from his AFCON from the, what was it? Is he Cameroon goalkeeper? He got dropped for them as well. So not a good season for him at all.
The AFCON's been mental.
I've not caught a lot of it. I did actually. In fact, we should have brought this up with the what was it? Who was it playing? Is it Guinea and it was Cameroon or someone was playing Gambia, Cameroon, and a player just did slap it into the net to try and get an equaliser. We should have brought that up earlier. But
mate, the games are wild, man. I love it. It's mental. It's always mental.
Well, that's Paddy's recommendation for this week: is go watch the AFCON.
It's mental. It is mental.
We'll get you on the advertising campaign for it.
It is.
Do you want to give the answer to your trivia from last week?
Oh, I asked James Milner was the second top appearance holder in the Premier League history. He just surpassed it as outright second.
Yeah.
So who was he joint with? And the answer was Ryan Giggs.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you have a new one this week or?
No, I've not prepared that trivia.
Well, good. I'll just give you another wee bonus
have you got
fact about. No, it's just a bonus fact about James Milner.
Oh, here we go.
James Milner this weekend became the first player in Premier League history to score at every age between 16 and 38.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So well done, James. Well done, James.
Well done, James.
And on that lovely note of James Milner appreciation, it's time for us to go. So say bye, Patrick.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Stay fresh, cheese bags.